Hello! It's been a while. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today I am doing a Q&A video answering your questions. So thank you to everyone who asked questions via Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. I have them all here. And quite a few of you sent questions, so this will probably have multiple parts to this video. I want to explain everything, sort of give good answers. I don't want to skip over things, and I want to answer to the best of my ability so that the people who did ask questions can get like a fulfilling answer. So this could be quite a long video, I'm not sure, we'll see. But yeah, here we go. So the first question is from Rich, and he says, what do you do to give your head some space when you feel like too much is going on? So I think a lot of people with mental health issues, especially I think with anxiety, will know that your head can get very loud with lots of different thoughts, and it's really helpful to, from time to time, be able to remove yourself and to calm the thoughts in your head. So to do that, I have found various things that work for me. So the first one would probably be exercise, and it's only something that I've recently got into, but I'm finding it has lots of benefits for my mental health, and it's also really good for my physical health, so it's doing both things at the same time, which is great. And whilst I'm at the gym, because I'm so in the moment and I'm not really thinking, which is great. Another thing is listening to music. Listening to music for me is huge because I find music really controls my mood. So if I'm in a bad mood, I can just put like some happy songs, and then my mood is elevated. So for me, music is a big thing. Another one would be sort of art. I like to do a lot of drawing and lots of artistic things. I write a lot. Which is probably why blogging works so well for me. So yeah, I think they're the top 3 things that I do. Another thing that, I don't know if this is more sort of just me thinking that it works or if it does actually work. I don't know if it's a placebo effect, but if it's at night and I'm trying to sleep and I can't sleep, I put lavender oil on like sort of here on my wrists. That really helps me to sleep. It stops my thoughts from racing, and then I can get to sleep. So that's something else that I do as well. So the second question is from Ross, and it's, what inspired you to start #MentalHealthChatHour? So if you don't know, every Monday night at 8 PM English time, I run a Twitter chat about mental health, where we sort of just discuss various topics, and it's just a place where everyone can talk openly about mental health and get advice not only from me but from other people, because some of the topics I don't have experience in, and I don't want to be given advice on things that I don't personally have experience in, but because people who do have experience in those particular areas will join in, then it means that sort of people can still benefit from it. So what inspired me to start my chat was that at university I go to a blogging society, and there was a girl there who started a travelling Twitter chat. I didn't even know what Twitter chats were before this, and I kind of thought, oh, I've never seen a mental health Twitter chat, so I thought it would be a really nice original idea to begin a Twitter chat. So last summer I started to draft some ideas of potential topics and questions and how I'd like to format it, and what days I'd like it, the name and everything else. Only to find out about 3 weeks into starting the chat that there was a mental health Twitter chat called TalkMH, which is absolutely amazing as well, and I would say definitely go and check it out. So then I kind of realised that it wasn't a very original idea, but now there are plenty of Twitter chats to do with mental health that exist. So yeah, that's what really inspired me to start it, was just wanting to do something original to be able to help people, especially as I knew there were other chats for various other topics, but not for mental health. Okay, so the next one is from Matt, and he says, do you think self-love can come across as selfish? I don't, big fan of it. But is it easier to self-love for a man, going for a pint and whatnot by yourself? I was speaking to my ex about me feeling better and what I've done to do that, and going for a pint and lunch by myself came up, and she wishes she could do that but dare not because of how she'd be perceived. Okay, I don't think self-love is selfish whatsoever. I think it's actually really important because you need to look after yourself, and at the end of the day, if you can't function properly, you can't help anyone else. It's not at all being selfish, putting yourself first and having to look after yourself. As for the part of is it easier for a man than a woman, I don't think it's that it's easier, it's just different. I think for a man you can go for a pint in the pub, you can go for lunch by yourself, and you won't be perceived as strange, whereas as a woman I feel that it's a little different. Like, I wouldn't go to a pub on my own and I wouldn't go for lunch on my own because, I don't know, it's really different, and maybe that's just me, and maybe it's just your ex and a couple of, you know, maybe it's just a group of us that feel this way, and then there's other people that would be perfectly comfortable with that. But for women, self-care can take shape in other forms, such as painting our nails, watching a girly film, or even like, self-care doesn't have to be something happy all the time. If you're feeling sad and you want to cry, self-care could be watching a sad film. Like, self-care is very different, I think, for women than it is for men. For women, you can go for a spa day, you can do these sorts of things. But I do think, in the particular example of going for a pint and lunch by yourself, I do think men are probably more comfortable to do that than women. Okay, so Rosie asks, what has your experiences with services been like? So I started having mental health issues when I was 16, and when I was 17 I was referred to CAMHS, which is the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Services. That was okay, that wasn't too bad. I had sort of like weekly therapy sessions there. The waiting list was long. I think mine was relatively short actually in comparison to quite a few people, because I think I was kind of bumped up a bit. But I still had to wait about 2 months before being seen. And then I've also done CBT, and I did that last year for my emetophobia. But I mean, when I was actually having the sessions, I didn't necessarily feel that they were all that helpful. And I had a negative experience of her telling me that I would never get better, that it was just kind of like pointless me trying to recover from this because it just wasn't going to happen. So that was quite negative. But in hindsight, from having moved on from CBT, I've realised that I've actually made quite a lot of improvements. I'm nowhere near recovered from it. I don't know if I ever will be, but I've, you know, that it did help me in hindsight, but at the time I didn't really feel like it. But that's really the only experiences I've had with sort of like mental health therapies and services and things. I've been to the doctors a couple of times. I went a couple of months ago about my weight. That wasn't the best of experiences. I kind of got tracked for a couple of weeks and months. Had blood tests and whatever else too, as I was like very underweight. But because I wasn't like, I think as soon as they don't think you have an eating disorder, they kind of just don't place that much care. So she kind of weighed me a couple of times, and then at the end my doctor was just like, well, what's the point of this? Is there any point us carrying on weighing you? And I just thought, well, actually no, there's not, like, it doesn't matter. And her advice literally was just like, eat avocados, just eat loads every day. Like, that's not helpful. But otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't say, I could have had a lot worse experiences. Like, it is what it is. Like, so another question from Rachel. Who do you think you would be without your mental health issues? And I really like this question because I had to think a lot before this video. I had to think a lot about who I actually would be, because I think I would still, in many aspects, still be the same person. And I think it's really, 100% I'm the person I am today because of my mental health issues. And I think without them I wouldn't be as empathetic, I wouldn't be as caring, I wouldn't be as understanding. So I think I've got so many positive traits from it. But I was thinking, like, if I didn't have my mental health issues, I do think I think I'd live more. Because I wouldn't be so afraid to do things, that I'd go out and I'd try new things, and I'd go and do things that scare me, and I would travel and I'd do all of these things, and I do amazing things as it is, but there is a lot that I don't do because of fear, I guess. So I think that's the only thing that I can think, that if I didn't have, like, who would I be? I'd still be me, just less fearful, I think. No, I actually don't know. Like, mental health is huge. Like, not only is it something I suffer with, but now it's turned into a huge interest of mine. And I don't know who I would be without that. But I mean, I like me, so that's fine. It all works well. Okay, so we've got a question from Alex. Has your university experience provided you with enough support? So I joined university. I did university 2 years ago, just finished my second year. And in some aspects my university has provided me with support. In other aspects, no. I'll start with the negatives. That we have like a wellbeing team, they're not very good. The woman, I've only seen her like twice, because you kind of get assigned a woman dependent on or a person dependent on your degree. So I've been given the person who does languages, and every time she kind of just looks at me and she's like, oh, what would you like me to do? And I'm just like, I don't know, I'm coming to you because I don't know what to do. Like, I need answers. This is why I've come to you, because it's your job to help me, to either give me answers or to help me figure out the answers. I'm not sitting here to give you answers. So she's not very helpful. And then you're also given a tutor. So I have a tutor, and in my first year I went through a rough patch where I had various options. It was either to leave university completely, transfer to another university, or to reduce my degree from joint honours to single honours. And I liked my university and I liked the friends that I'd made, and I didn't want to leave because of my mental health, so I decided that I wanted to potentially bring my degree down to a single honours, which would mean getting rid of Italian. So my tutor is also my Italian lecturer, so I had a meeting with him and I was just like, oh, is it possible to reduce my degree down to a single honours? How easy is it to do? What's the process? And he wanted to know why I was thinking of doing this. So I was like, oh, I'm struggling with my mental health, and I think it's best for me if I just drop one, and sort of stuff like that. And his response was like, oh, out of everyone in the class, I wouldn't have thought that you had a mental illness. You don't look like you would. And it was just kind of like, what does someone with a mental illness look like? Like, you want to tell me? So that was kind of sucky. In the end, I didn't drop Italian. I actually am still doing a joint honours, which I'm glad I am. I'm glad I stuck it through and I've managed to cope with doing both. But on the positives, lectures have been great. Like, I've never explicitly said that I have anxiety, but I think some of my lecturers know. I mean, it is on like the system, whether or not they read the system and they read that I do have mental health issues, I don't know. But one of my lecturers is actually really good. We kind of have like a system now, so it's kind of like I only get asked to talk if I kind of make eye contact, but at the same time she'll so she won't make me read out loud. She'll say to me like, oh, is it okay if you read? And I'll be like, oh yeah, it's fine, like I'll read. Or if she hears me give an answer to something like my neighbour, which is good and she wants me to share it with everyone, but then I start to go like bright red and she'll just be like, oh, it's fine, like it's fine, don't worry, and she just moves on. She's really nice about it. And I once had a meeting with her and she said to me, she was like, oh, you don't like exams and talking in class, do you? And I was like, no, I don't. And then she was like, well, why did you pick doing a languages degree when so much of it is orally. And I was like, I didn't really think of that aspect when I was applying to do the degree. I just knew that I liked languages, and I didn't think of the oral aspect and how that would scare me and give me anxiety and things. And she said to me, she was like, I'll tell you why you took it. And I was like, why? And she was like, because you're brave. And I was like, oh, thank you. So yeah, as much as in certain aspects they haven't been very supportive, in other aspects they've been great. So yeah, I hope that's a good enough answer. That was a long answer, I apologise. Okay, so the next question is from Kevin. Does surrounding yourself in the mental health community ever have a negative impact on your own mental health? I think it's important I answer this, and whilst the majority of the time it positively impacts my mental health because it keeps me driven, and I like talking to people who have the same interests as me, and I enjoy supporting other people as well. I think actually the thing that impacts my mental health the most negatively as being part of the mental health community is actually, and this sounds really like wrong, not wrong, but a bit selfish, but I'm being honest because that's the point of this video, is actually seeing everyone's achievements. I think it's hard when you're part of a community and some people in that community are really, they're big. They've got loads of followers, they do amazing things, they go on TV shows, they are part of documentaries, they go on the radio, they've got newspaper articles written about them, they win awards, like they do these amazing things. And to just be a normal blogger next to that sometimes can bring you down, and it does sometimes, because I'll scroll on my feed and I'll just see all these amazing things that people are doing, and it's human nature to compare yourself to other people. And I do that, and that brings me down, because then I think, well, why aren't I getting those opportunities? Why aren't I good enough for that? When in reality, I have to remember these are people that have been blogging for a lot longer than I have, that might be 5 or 6 years older than me, that they have all this added experience. They might have done a degree in social media, or I don't know if that's a degree. They might have done qualifications, or they know more about social media. They are more knowledgeable in some aspects than I am, because my blog's only 1.5 years old. I still have so much to learn, and I've progressed so much in the last 1.5 years, from my writing style to the sorts of things I want to post to my use of social media. And I think that's the thing, it's trying not to compare myself to everyone else's progress and their achievements, and instead remember that I should celebrate those because they're amazing, and if I was the one getting them, I would want people to celebrate my achievements as well. But that is the honest answer. I don't think anything else really gets me down or negatively impacts my mental health. Okay, so the next one is, this question that came in, what ways do you think you can support someone with mental health issues such as anxiety or depression? Supporting someone with anxiety and depression can actually be really hard. And the first thing I would say to you is to actually look after yourself. Because it's like in the airplanes, you can't look after anyone else unless you look after yourself. And it can be draining, it can be a scary time, it can evoke feelings of anxiety in yourself and make you feel various emotions. And I think you need to take care of your own emotions as well, because you can't help anyone else if you're not in a good place. So yeah, 100% look after yourself is the first thing I would say. As for actually supporting the other person, check in on them. I'm not saying this needs to be every single day, how are you, blah blah blah, let's talk about everything, because sometimes they won't want to talk about whatever it is that's going on. But you know, send a message if it's like once a week, and you don't always have to talk about what's going on. Have normal conversations, talk about things going on in the world, talk about plans, talk about there's so much to talk about. Just have normal conversations, because normal conversations are great distractions for people who are going through things, because sometimes talking about it all the time isn't helpful. So yeah, another thing I would say is invite them out to things, include them. It can be hard, especially like if they decline invitations, but at the end of the day, the invitation will mean a lot to them. Even if they do decline every single time, keep inviting them, because there will be a day where they might actually think, today I feel up for it and I'm gonna go. Or even if they decline the invitation, they'll still think, oh, they thought of me and they still wanted me there. And that can mean a lot, to know that people still want you around and things like that, because otherwise it can get tough if you feel like you're starting to lose your friends, because friends are a big part of life, you know, family and friends and stuff. And another thing I would say to support someone with mental health issues, such as anxiety and depression, is to encourage them to get help if they're not already. Talking to a doctor, it can be very helpful, so, you know, offer to go with them, and let them know that you are there for them, because they'll probably feel like they're burdening you at times, which you probably won't feel like that's the case, but they will. So remind them that you're there for them, remind them that they're not a burden, check in on them, you know, offer to go to the doctors with them, and just be there for them. I think at the end of the day, that's all you can do. All you can do is be there for them, treat them normally, and be an ear and a shoulder to cry on if they need it. Or if they just need someone to laugh with and just forget about things for a while, then be that as well. But yeah, just treat them normally, I think, as well. It's really important. That's it for this part of the video. I've just got a part 2 with more of your questions, and I will see you next time, and I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any other questions that you would like to see in the next video, or if I have to do a part 3, I'll do a part 3, then comment them below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye!